So again, welcome to followmetrades.com Saturday Scanning. We're going to be looking for trades. I like this time on Saturday morning. The market's closed. Things are settled, and we can get ready for the upcoming week. See if we can find some great trade candidates. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'll go ahead and turn the camera off, and we're just going to focus on the slides. All right. So, finding great trade candidates can be like a needle in a haystack. It's hard. There's thousands. There's about 9,000 stocks in the U.S. market, and then there's ETFs and all that stuff. It's just hard. How do you know? How do you go find what's going to be the next great trade? So I've developed some methods to do that, just to narrow it down and try and find that needle in a haystack to make it a little bit easier. Okay. So David says Eva's great. Eva is great. All right. So we're gonna find a few of these needles in the haystack today. I'll show you how I do it. I'll share the trades that I find, and then toward the end, I'm going to be offering to analyze any trade ideas you're interested in, and I'll extend an offer if you want to follow along with me each week on the trades I actually do take and then how we manage them. Quick disclaimer: I'm a trader. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not giving financial advice. I'm going to share what I look for in trades, some ideas that I have, some trades I'm probably going to be taking next week. But whether anyone decides to participate in those trades, of course, it's your decision, it's your money. So I'm not giving financial advice. I'm sharing what I do. Everything's for education, information purposes. So, hey, I'm Dean Jenkins. If you don't know me, I know we got a lot of folks here. Maybe got an invitation and came in to check this out. Just a quick thing, who am I? I've been investing for about 25 years now. And it really started when I was working for Intel Corporation, and they gave us stock options and employee stock purchase. I joined there in '93, and from that point, the stock doubled and split like clockwork for several years, and it got my attention. Pretty soon that adds up, and I was like, wow, there's some power here. This is interesting, and that led into the .com boom, and there was lots of stocks, and everybody at work was buzzing about them, and so I started participating. Had mixed results. I was really a fundamental trader. I went and got an MBA during that period, studied balance sheets and earnings and all this stuff, and it was just pretty frustrating. I gave up on the market in 2007. Just got frustrated. Just couldn't be consistent, but I couldn't stay away. It was too intriguing. So I got back in after the 2009 crash, and that was just pure luck, right? I got out, went to cash, the whole thing crashed. I got back in. And I got into some winning trades. I got into Bank of America at like $5 and a couple others like that. And, it goes to 12. And I was stressed out. I didn't have a plan about how to manage it. Should I stay in? Is there going to be more profit, or am I going to give it all away? So I got interested in technical trading about 2010. I said, boy, there's just got to be, these charts look like there's some patterns, and there's just got to be a way to approach this that is a little more methodical, a little more predictable. And so I started looking into technical trading. I made all kinds of mistakes. I like most people, man, there's just got to be the one indicator that will just tell me that a trade's going to win. But about 2012, I finally settled on my current trading system, and I started getting consistent results. And as I was doing that, I'm networking with other traders. People were going, hey, looks like you're getting some results there. Once you let us know, once you share the trades you're taking before you take them, and it turned into this business, Follow Me Trades, and I launched that in 2015. So that's my story. Results. So I've got them published here. We regularly beat the indexes. Got off to a pretty good start in January. The indexes jumped. I'm quite certain we're going to pass them up this year because we have for the last several years. So I'm not posing in front of private jets and yachts and promising that you're going to take $1,000 and turn it into $1 million, but we're turning out consistent, solid, realistic profits. And all my results are audited by a third party. All right, so here's how the session's going to go. Just a little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to explain the trade setups I'm looking for. If we're going to scan for trades, there's got to be some criteria. So I'll explain what I'm looking for. Then I'll walk through how I take that criteria and narrow that huge market. I scan down to a manageable set of trades. I got a handful of approaches, and I'll show you a couple. I'm going to find some great trade candidates, and then I'll I'd be happy once we find some trades that I'm interested in. If you would like to have ideas you're looking at analyzed with my criteria, I'd be happy to do that. Eva and I will do that. I'll summarize the trade candidates at the end. I'm going to list them all on a spreadsheet here. So these will be actionable trades for next week. And then I'll extend an offer if you want to follow along with me on an ongoing basis. So stay with me, and if you want to get the most out of this time. So I like quotes from famous smart people. Here's a quote from Benjamin Disraeli. He said, "The secret to success is to be ready for your opportunity when it comes." And I think that's really appropriate to trading. It's all about having a set of criteria, having a trading plan, and then letting the trades come to you. Louis Pasteur said, "In the field of observation, chance favors the prepared mind." And again, it's having a plan, being prepared, and then making your observations. Okay, here's some things that I have learned in order to be a consistently profitable trader. You got to have a trading plan, and that plan's got to include these three things: great trade setups. I'll share the setup criteria I'm looking for, but they got to be a high probability outcome and a good reward to risk ratio, meaning they could make more money than they would lose. You got to be able to manage risk. You got to have a strategy for keeping the loser small, and then you got to have a method for managing the trade. Once you're in it, having the decision points kind of predefined, so it's just black and white. You just execute where you take profit, where you exit the trade, all that kind of stuff. Different than risk management. Okay, so I use these tools in my trading. I use Dow theory, which is trend analysis. It's a very small portion of Dow theory, but it's really how to analyze if a trend has been proven and when it's ended. I use Ichimoku Cloud really as a predictor of support and resistance and a key breakthrough. Ichimoku Cloud's a little bit like moving averages, but better, and it gives you a region rather than a line. And I use a very simple version of Elliott wave, looking for impulsive or corrective waves. My overriding thing, I'm looking for a high probability outcome and a high reward to risk ratio. Okay, Dow theory, just a quick look at that. Dow theory tells us that an uptrend is, when because price doesn't move in straight lines, right? And it goes, so when it's making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, that's an uptrend. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs is a downtrend. Okay, trend begins when you get a high, higher low, new high. It ends when you do not put in a new high. It goes below. So you get a lower high and take out the previous low. Pretty good sign that the trend has ended. Same thing for a bear trend. Begins when you get a low, lower high, new low. Ends when you do not put in new lows. You get a higher low, new high. So that's just a quick look at Dow theory. Roy says, "Are you showing charts? You got nothing." Hopefully you guys see my screen because I've been showing a couple of slides here.
Dean, I can see the screen.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you need to go full screen, Roy, or re-log in or something like that. Everybody else can see it. Everything's good. Okay. Just a little adrenaline shot there as a presenter. Ichimoku Cloud, you can see it's this shaded region, this green in an uptrend, red in a downtrend. And I'm really just looking for price to break out of the cloud as one of a handful of tools that I use to confirm that a trend, right? Dow theory, high, higher low, new high. It's breaking the cloud. Yeah, might have a trend. And you can see it predicts it pretty well, and it also predicts some support levels as price pulls back into higher lows, and it reverses at the cloud. So it's a helpful tool. I use a very simple approach to Elliott wave. Interesting that it was developed back in the 1930s, the same time that Goichi Hasada was working on Ichimoku Cloud. But I'm just looking for impulsive moves and corrections. I really only want to trade wave 3. That's a good one. It's a big impulsive move. Wave 4, correction, if there's sufficient profit in it. And then wave 5, the continuation of the original trend. I don't try to trade the ABCs or the initial waves because you can find all the trades you want with the easiest setups. Wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Okay, just a note on risk management. You got to determine how much you're willing to lose on a trade. And I think that's an important question even before you start thinking about how much you can make. It's got to be, you got to acknowledge that a trade could lose and then determine how much you're willing to lose and that would be and what a pain-free level for you would be. I use 2%. So 2% is not how much capital I put into the trade. It's the maximum I'm willing to lose on a trade if the trade fails. So if that's a $50,000 account, that's $1,000 on a trade. that is the max I'm willing to lose, right? All right, trade management. So that's different than risk management. You know, it includes where you're going to take profit, adding to the position strategically, staying with the winner for as long as possible, and then exiting the trade at the right time. Those are all trade management things that need to be comprehended. Otherwise, you're in the trade, and if you don't have these things well defined, then you're just acting based on intuition or emotion or hunches, and that's not really a repeatable approach. So trade management, you can see I trail my stop as price moves up, right? This was actually a real trade that we took here in Vail a couple of years ago. And so we trail our stop to logical price-derived support areas. So initial stop was here, higher high, higher low, new high, trail the stop, trail the top, trail the stop, and eventually you're going to get stopped out, take profit as it crosses key levels, key Fibonacci lines. And then we actually took this wave 3 trade, and then we closed it, waited for the correction, and then took the continuation. And again, stop here, price goes up, stop here, here, and eventually close the trade. So those are important things to have well defined. Here's a real trade that we just took a few weeks ago, and this is exactly the setup I'm looking for, right? On Canopy, we had a big impulsive wave 3 up. We actually traded this last year, caught this move. There was a perfect correction down into Fibonacci retracement zones, which is what we expect. And then it started going up again. And right as it broke the Ichimoku cloud, we had a high, higher low, new high, broke the Ichimoku cloud. We took our entry here at 36.70, exited it 12 days later, 18% gain on the shares. And for the call options, it was a 64% gain in 12 days. Yeah, not every trade goes that faster, you know, but that was a good one. And we do get them like that quite often. So that was a fun one. All right. So that's a real example of a trade, and this is exactly what we're looking for here today. So to scan for trades, here's what I do. First thing I do is just stand back and look at the market and the big picture. Somebody asked my take on the indexes. You know, I'm gonna show that in my big picture review here in a minute. So I just go, what's going on? You know, where are the indexes at? What's the big news coming? You know, what's the big picture? What's going on, right? And then I create a thesis, and I look at a variety of places. But it really is it's a guess, right? What's going to happen next, and maybe what sectors, you know, would I expect to do something? Now I don't trade based on a guess or based on a thesis. I use that thesis to go look at parts of the market, at particular sectors, particular stocks, right? So it narrows my focus from 9,000 U.S. stocks down to a couple hundred maybe. And then I use some tools to narrow that down even further. And then I finally get my eyes on a handful of charts and try to pick out some good ones. And we're going to do that here in a minute. Okay. So that's really what I do. And after I go through my scanning and try and find some good trades here, I'll be happy to analyze some trade ideas that you have as well. All right. So we went through that pretty fast. That's good. So here's the big picture. Just looking around. So as of today, the indexes are up for the year, and they're looking a little bit extended. I mean, the S&P 500, the Russell, the NASDAQ, the Dow. Yeah, it's a sharp incline up from the beginning of the year, really the day after Christmas, first day the market opened after Christmas until now, and it's looking a little bit extended. So, you know, if it's going to keep going up, I'll go with it, but I'm going to be very skeptical and waiting for signs of a turn down. And I'd probably be trading, I'll say it down here, long and short, because just because the indexes are going up doesn't mean everything is, right? An index is an average. Earnings season is nearly over, and earnings growth is slowing down. So the rate of growth in earnings and revenue, FactSet is a great resource to go get a big picture on what's going on in earnings. It is below the growth rate for earnings. Earnings aren't, you know, declining, but the growth rate is going down below what it's been for several years. You know, you can read articles all day long about concern building about global economic slowing. Last week, reports out about Germany. There have been reports about China. The U.S.-China trade deal is a really big deal. Breaking news, either about making a deal or not making a deal, could cause volatility in the market. We got some big economic reports coming out. Consumer price index on Tuesday, factory orders on Wednesday. GDP on Thursday, consumer data on Friday. So these are all big, big things that give insight into the health of the economy, and ultimately could affect what the Fed does and how traders and participants in the market view things. So these are big deals coming up. There's always something big coming up that's going to disrupt the market, right? So I'm going to be looking for shorter term trades, probably in the 3 to 10 day range, maybe out to 15 these trading days, 2 to 3 or 4 weeks max, knowing that things could change quickly. Long and short, I got a little bit of a bias to the short, but I'll take longs that look good. Metals are looking very interesting. We're watching that close. Gold, precious metals, and energy is very interesting. There's some interesting things going on in that sector as well. So that's kind of my big picture. And now I'll go start scanning, okay? Let's look at some live charts. Let's find some great trades. And again, once I get through this, I will be happy to offer some feedback on any symbols that you're interested in. Eva and I will do that together. And we'll bring all of our tools to bear, but we're not gonna do that just yet. First, we're gonna go find some trades using my methods. So here's an approach that I use sometimes. It's a great website, SPDR, and they provide a handful of sector ETFs. S&P 500 sector ETFs, and you can see they've got communications, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, energy, financials, blah blah blah, whole list of sectors. And it's kind of nice. You can put these on different time frames: 1 day, 5 days, a month. Right? If you look, for the last month, no surprise, everything's up, and it's been led by the industrials. Communications kind of lagging. If we look at just the last week, you can see communications is pulling back, energy is pulling back. And you can develop a thesis from these and say, you could say, maybe I think that's going to catch back up, right? Or it's going to continue down. You're not trading based on a thesis. You're trying to find a place to go look for charts that would then meet the criteria. And it could work out. And wow, that was really good. I found a bunch of good trade ideas, or no, it didn't really pan out. So this is one way to look at the market, is just through sectors. And this website's really cool because they have these big sector ETFs, and you can go look at one of them, and they'll list the holdings in that. So it's right here. So there's every company that is in this particular ETF, list of them. And you can even download a spreadsheet, and you can, paste that into your trading platform and analyze that stuff. Here's another approach that I kind of like. This is a finviz.com, financial visualization. And so you can look at the S&P 500, the entire market, the world, ETFs, and you can change your time frames just like on the other one from 1 day to 1 week. So this is a good view. Let's look at the S&P 500 over the last week, really the last 5 trading days. And so the size of the square is the market cap of the company, and then the color is determined by how much price change. Google is down a little bit. It's kind of this brick color. Microsoft was up. It's pretty green. So, what you want to look for is things that are different, things that are standing out. And, I'm always trying to, based on my trading, I want to find something new. Something has changed on a particular chart, right? And so when they stand out from the crowd, it could be that something new is going on. So I just look, kind of scan this heat map, and, obviously this stands out as like, wow, this is really, really different. And these are, kind of bright spots as telecom. So let's go, now we just put it on a chart real quick and see if there's any kind of interesting pattern. So let me do that for ATVI and EA. I just bring up my charting software. I use TradeStation. And plug the symbol in, I have a peak. So ATVI and EA. Another tool we use that I haven't talked about is we use Vantage Point artificial intelligence software, and it's started using it last summer, and it's really good. It gives a great 1 to 3 day prediction based on 30 intermarket correlations for a given symbol, predicting what's going to happen next. And so I don't trade based on any one indicator. but it's, you know, when the indicators all start to line up, you know, if we got a good wave count with Elliott wave, if we're, you know, on the right side of the Ichimoku cloud, I use a price oscillator down here, right, Dow theory, and then now we can add vantage point. You know, if everything starts to add up, that really helps with a trade. When I look here at ATVI, it had a big run up, and then this correction is big. It's bigger than just a wave 4 Elliott wave correction. It went too deep. So this is the new trend down, and it's still going down. You can see it put in a low. It's a lower high, still heading down, but it's awfully extended. I would not try to chase that one down. And you can see on the momentum indicator, it is running out of momentum. So the heat map drew our attention here. That's not really a good candidate. The other one was EA. Now this is interesting. It's got the same sort of pattern, you know, big move up, a huge retracement, too deep. So this is now the dominant major trend here is this down move, and it retraced up, and I can look and I can see that it retraced up right into the Fibonacci retracement sweet spot, these blue lines, and now it has reversed down. So this is, in Elliott wave terms, wave 3, this is 4, and now we're looking at 5, and this could be good. And I would like to see it break through the cloud, and if it does, we got a price target that could be really attractive here. I'm using Fibonacci extension lines to predict where wave 5 will go to, and it's predicting that it would go between 62.16 and 33. And so I would look for an entry here at about 90.61 and see then where my stop would be, what the risk to reward on the trade would be. But that's a candidate. So let me write that down. And then while I'm writing it down, Eva, what do you get, a thumbs up or down from Vantage?
EA gives you a thumbs up. It's going to be maybe a little flat short term, but then it's heading down.
Good. So that's nice to have that confirmation. And quite often what we're doing is finding trade candidates. Some of these candidates will never meet the criteria, and that's okay. Let them go. But some of them will, and we'll end up taking these trades. So let me go back to FinBiz. So that, you know, just by looking at the heat map and looking here at things that stand out, I was able to find a trade candidate. I only have to look at 2 charts, and I found one. Typically, we've got to look at about 10. But let's look at a couple others. You know, banks are green, but not so much. Microsoft stands out. So let's look at Microsoft. So Microsoft actually looks good. It had a correction, and it was a wave 4. So it looks like it's off to the races on the next move up. I'm already kind of heavily weighted into some technology stocks, so I don't really want to add any more at this time. But if anybody is interested, this is not a bad trade. The target on Microsoft's 131. Whether I would watch to make sure it could get through the prior high, which isn't that far away. That's another thing. About 117, so $7 from here. It's a nice setup, but again, I'm kind of overweighted in that sector, so I can't take any more. But if anybody's interested, Microsoft doesn't look bad. Again, watch 117 as a potential stall. Okay, let's see, what's another area here? Lo and behold, the Philip Morris and Altria. Interesting business model. You make a product that kills your customers. But the charts look like they're going up. So PM, that's not a very good orderly chart. We got this move down, big linear move up here. The next thing's probably going to be some kind of correction. Let's see if MO looks any better. It does. It does look better. So it's had this big move down, just like PM. We're going to anchor to here. And so we got a target between 55 and and 62.5. So our stop would be under this last low. Our entry would be current price. We'll see what it looks like on Monday. We're going to put our target right in the zone at this prior consolidation area. You can see this right here. I think that's a good potential area where it would stall. Now you can see the distance from our entry to our stop versus the entry to the target. This is 1.5, maybe even 2 to 1 reward to risk ratio. So that's not bad. And that's a $5 move on a $50 stock. So that's about 10%. You know, it's not a home run, but it's a good solid single or double. What do we got on VP there on MO?
It looks all good on Vantage.
Good for a long, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we just want to make sure the reward to risk is still good when the market opens. Okay, so hey, we got two already. Hardy's asking, what's the histogram below the chart? This is it's a price oscillator, and it shows momentum really well. This one is the OWL from traderscoach.com. It's the optimum wave locator. There are free versions, not quite as good, but very, very close. It's just a price oscillator you can find on your platform. I know it's on TradeStation, it's on Ninja, it's on Thinkorswim. Just called a price oscillator. Change the type. The default setting usually is a line. Change it to histogram. Okay. Let me keep scanning. So back to FinBiz. I like this telecom. This is really standing out. We got AT&T and we got Verizon. Anybody love their cell phone carrier? It's like, you know, no is the answer usually. But you kind of love to hate them, right? Mark is asking, how useful is the Chaikin money flow? I don't know. Never used it. All right, so AT&T is interesting. It has been in a long slide, and we see something new happening down here at the bottom, and that's, I mentioned earlier, I like to look for something new, a change. So here's the how far down it went. Here's the expected retracement, and what's new, you see in this downtrend, it put in lows, lower highs, lows, lower highs, lows, lower highs, all the way down. This is new in that it is now putting in a high. When in this pullback, it did not go to a new low, and it's heading up to a new high. It's above the cloud. I would like to see that clear the 200-day moving average. That's that white line. And then we're looking for it somewhere into here. I would put a target right at this consolidation area initially. And then our stop is going to be down here. The reward to risk on this is going to be a little thin. So we got to see where the stop would be when it breaks. But it's a candidate. And we got to see some more price bars form and get some details. But it's worth keeping an eye on.
Vantage is consistent with their interpretation, Dean, because it looks like it's a good long, but short term there may be a pullback. So I was thinking around the 200, there could be a little pullback there.
Yeah. Yeah. What's nice is when you have a list like this where you're waiting for something to happen is, you know, you don't have to log into your computer and feel desperate. I got to go find some trade candidates. Is you got a whole list of them here. You know, I got pretty long lists that I'm continuing to watch here, waiting for certain things to happen. And then we just wait. You know, we spend our time looking for candidates, and then when they trigger, go have a look and put the trade on. All right, so we were interested in Verizon as well. So Verizon's a whole different thing than AT&T, but it actually looks pretty good too. So it has, this is the move up. It's a bullish move. It's got a correction. Found nice support at the 200. Now it's taken off again. And we're going to measure that retracement to make sure it was good right into the retracement zone. So we got a target using the extensions. Wow, up 63. It's moved straight up for over a week. Our stop would be here. We might be better with a little pullback, but it's clear of the 200. It's clear of the cloud. We got this high coming up, but this all looks pretty good. The target would actually be up in here.
And it looks, sorry, Dean, didn't want to talk over you. It looks great on Vantage. Everything's solid.
They're predicting more moves up too, huh?
Yes.
So that sector looked nice. We'll evaluate that after the market opens, but there's an idea, VZ long. Okay. So that's one approach. Just looking at that heat map, we came up with a couple trade ideas. Mark Chaikin money flow, institutional money flowing in and out of stocks. I've tracked things like that. I've tracked, order flow and all that kind of stuff. What I've found is, and this is my opinion, right? Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and you can agree or disagree with me, that all the participants in the market, the institutional traders, the retail traders, all that kind of stuff, all of their actions end up showing up very clearly here on price action. So if we want to know what the collective market thinks about Verizon or Electronic Arts, all we got to do is come look at the chart and the momentum and the direction and the price pattern, and that's going to tell us everything we need to know about what the market thinks, how they're responding to all known public information. It's all right here in front of us, and I think I've learned keeping it simple and just focusing on price action. I check for liquidity. I check for news events. I don't want to be surprised, that, oh, wow, the drug trial was announced the day after you bought it, right? But my decisions about whether it's a trade setup or not come right off of price action, and that is an undisputed reality. Price action, price and volume are indisputable realities, and the closer I stay to that reality, the better off I've been. All right. We looked at the heat map and we looked at the sector thing to give some ideas. There's another approach we can take, and that is to just run scans based on some specific criteria. And so I got this scan written. I wrote this scan in TradeStation scanner, and I'll show you what's in it, right? So here's my criteria. I'm looking at all U.S. stocks, all of them. And then I filter them. I make sure that the price is above $2. I don't mind trading a low-priced stock, but I don't want to trade penny stocks. Penny stocks have some problems. Okay, I want to make sure the 10-day average volume is over 1 million shares. I want good liquid markets. Market cap over $1 billion. They don't have to be Microsoft, but be a real company. And then I'm looking for price that has crossed the 200-day moving average in the last 3 days, and that is within 5%. So it's crossed, meaning something new. When price crosses the 200-day moving average, something new is happening. And I don't want it to have crossed to be 20% away, right? Some big gap or big jump, and we kind of missed it. So I'm looking for things that crossed the 200-day moving average in the last 3 days and are within 5% of it. It's a thesis. If I run this scan, it can give me some ideas. So it generated, I ran that scan after the market closed yesterday. It gave me a list of 114 stocks that met that criteria. And now what I do is I load them up onto radar screen where I can run some indicators against this. The other thing. So here's radar screen. TOS has something similar. It's a grid where you can load indicators, get numeric values. So I loaded this list that came out of the scan, and now I've got the 200-day moving average indicator here, and I've got, this is a custom one I wrote. So it tells me how many bars since it crossed either direction, whether it's above or below, and how far away it is. And now I've got the Ichimoku cloud. Is price above the cloud, below the cloud, in the cloud, right? Is it newly above? So this is helpful. I can combine these things and scan. And John, I'm looking for longs and shorts, actually. So yeah, when I did kind of my big picture review of what we're looking for, I said, hey, we're willing to take a long or a short. So yeah. So what I can do is I can sort here, and like these are newly above. So that's interesting. So Google, you know, I don't really like trading $1,000 stock. I like options; they're really expensive. But here's IBB, which is the biotech ETF. It's above the 200-day moving average. It just crossed 1 day ago, and it's newly above the Ichimoku cloud. That tells us something new and interesting is probably happening with IBB. So let's go look at it. And I want to get my chart. And here it is. I have that radar screen linked to my chart, so it brings it up. And what we got with IBB, I just want to look at the weekly. Let me get the big picture on this thing. Yeah, okay. On the weekly, we got wave 5 getting started. That next impulsive move up, had a little hiccup there. So we're just going to look at this is 3, this is 4, and 5 starting. I think that's a legitimate approach. And so we're going to look here. Yeah, that was a little deep, wasn't it? But am I at the right place? No. I went a little, because this did not go lower. Okay. So that's right on the borderline. And it just wicked. I think it's okay. If it's okay, we got a target on IBB up about 115. Now, we could probably set this target right at the prior high. This target zone is between these two green lines. So our stop would be here. Our entry will be here. So our reward to risk on this looks pretty good. It's not the best chart on the planet, but it's not bad. And what do we got on VP there, Eva?
It's looking very flat because it's using the T-cross for support, just like that 200's really being hugged.
So maybe we would want to see it break out up above this high and see how things look. If it does, we're probably going to get a stop here. So that's a good watch list. Great. All right, let's go back to my scan and see what else shows up here. So that was a new above. Under Armour is a new above. So Under Armour is above the 200-day moving average. It crossed 3 days ago, and it's newly above the Ichimoku cloud. Well, this is interesting. And I know they just reported earnings recently. I saw that in the news. We don't have to worry about that. It's a kind of a tough chart, but this is wave 3. This is 4, and it does look like 5. Now this thing moves around, so it will be one that includes some adrenaline in this trade. But I can see, you know, the stop's going to be here pretty tight. It's got a nice move. It's above. It just reversed off to 200, and it's got a nice target. What do we got on Vantage on UA?
kind of mixed. It's got a green neural. It's above T-cross. Short term, it's up, but long term's flat, and medium is down. So it's really mixed.
All right. I think that's one we want to really be sure it's taken off. Okay, but it was a good one to look at. Another one, new above, Yandex. Let me get there. Steve says, hey, what are your Ichimoku cloud settings? Mine doesn't look the same. Yeah, you're right. I've got a unique proprietary set of settings and approach to using the Ichimoku cloud. I'll talk about that at the end here. Let me get through trying to find some trades, and then we'll talk about it. So Yandex. I'm spending a little time on it because it actually looks really interesting. I'm analyzing that trend, and to do so, you got to go find where it started. Sonny asks, is stop loss working overnight with options? Yeah, I mean, we're trading daily charts, and it's in the, the overnight movement on the ones we're trading. We avoid things that gap regularly and dramatically. So our exposure there is pretty limited. And then I teach a method on option risk control that even if things, go seriously sideways and there's a black swan event, we're still protected based on the position size that we took and the approach that we use. So I'm all about risk management, knowing how much we could lose and making sure that that's an okay number.
This stock is not on Vantage, so I cannot give you any input.
Yeah. Thank you. And Mike was asking the radar screen, and Ilya answered, yeah, it's called something different. What you want is just some kind of grid where you can list symbols and get numeric values of indicators. And most platforms I've seen have something like that. Okay, Yandex actually looks good. Nice wave 5. Wouldn't hurt to see it put in one more high here. Just get above that and then really accelerate. So it's going to have a nice reward to risk. So that's a candidate. All right. Well, we've got a list of, 7 trade ideas here. And some of them look pretty good. Have some real potential. So that didn't take long, right? That didn't take long at all. The Russian Google, yeah, we've looked at this. I think we've even traded Yandex before and we got a win on it. It's a pretty nice chart. Tom's asking, do I provide any instruction on how to use TradeStation option platform? Yeah, I do. I provide, when people subscribe, I got some option training materials, and I'm available, for subscribers for a consultation too. And we can use that time however you want. Often it's tutorials on the trading platform. Where are we at? I'm gonna check our time. We're doing pretty good here. Well, why don't we take a few minutes and go over some of your symbols? I know people typed them in earlier, but it's about 100 questions ago. If you got some symbols you would like to look at, we're going to take about 5 minutes, and we'll kind of speed date through those. And yeah, it looks like.
I already looked up the initial ones, so
okay.
I can give commentary on those.
Okay. Why don't you share your screen and knock out as many as you can in about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and start to wrap things up.
So the first one that was listed was Smucker's. Let me get to it on Vantage. So I already went and analyzed it. Let me go full screen. It's showing it in a downtrend here on Vantage, which is an artificial intelligence software that we incorporate into finding trade candidates. The problem with Smucker's is we've got this was a 3 down, which isn't showing on the screen, 4, 5. We're in an ABC, so it's not a good time to, we don't trade in ABC scenarios. FEYE. This one is just, you'll see, let me squish it up real quick. It is really channeling.
And choppy.
I drew lines, yeah. So we had a big drop down, 3, but it has not gone to its 4. It's just channeling. TSU. The next move for this one is down. So it needs to really, it's kind of creeped up. It's down, gone up. It still has a little bit on the way down. CUE. This I had, or was it CVE? Sorry, I think it was CVE. There we go. This is also in a wave 4, and it has a target up here, but it really needs to break through there. XLC was mentioned, Dean, but I can't pull up enough data on my end to really get much on that. Home Depot. Home Depot is a great candidate. It's kind of going sideways here. We've been looking at it. I already had all this in. The problem is earnings are on February 26th, and we do not trade into earnings.
That XLC, it's the same issue. I think that thing was just initiated less than a year ago, so there's not enough data to analyze that.
So BABA is on Vantage. It's showing it's in an uptrend, and it actually has cleared the 200. It's moving up nicely. This is where we have a target for it.
BABA's a nice trade right now. That goes on the list.
Yeah. Okay, so let me, sorry, now I got to pull up the new one. Sorry. That was what everyone mentioned while Dean was talking. MU, I see. Let me grab that. We've been looking at MU. Wave 4 down. It's in a wave 5 up. We wanted to see it get a new high. It did, however, it's really been consolidating, so really needs to break free of this, but has a nice target.
And now you got the 200 as a potential stall too right now.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to go through these. Costco, I know we looked at, so they have March 7th earnings, which are coming up fairly soon. Really needs to get through this 200. If it does, it's got a nice target. I'll see if I can get one more of yours. I'll do Microsoft and Apple since those are common requests. It's heading up, but very close to the target. So the risk to reward just isn't there for us to take a trade. AAPL. It's looking very good. Just wanted to see it get a new high because it's been going sideways. Just wanted to make sure it was truly heading up. But the target is up there and really good. Let's see. CNC. Nope. Typing problems. So we have this. It retraced in a nice wave 4, is moving up, but the 200 is creating resistance. So it really needs to clear that. Square is one we're currently trading, and it's above the cloud. and it's got a nice target. It was consolidating recently, so you'd really probably, for new candidates, might want to see a new high about 80.
And they got earnings coming on the 27th, so I would wait.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're already out halfway out of that one, and now we're going to hold through earnings before we do anything new.
AKS is also one we're currently trading, and we have a nice retracement area for it up here. And even if it stalls at the 200, it's still a nice return. UNT. This is just a messy chart. Sorry. Just really can't get a good wave. Well, if I put more in, sorry. Let me look at it.
It's been almost, it's been a year and a half since it did anything.
Yeah, it came up, came down, it's really channeling if you look at it on this. Okay, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA retraced nicely into wave 4. We've got a high, a higher low, a higher high. So it's setting up nicely for a good trade. Even if it's stalled here at the 200, we've got the, now if you want to be, because it's channeling sideways a little bit the last few days, if you want to see it make a new high, that might be helpful. You did get a gap here, so that might be an area of concern.
Why don't we do one more, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap things up.
Okay. That one was BTG. Sorry, tried to go as fast as I could to get as many in. This really is just a messy chart. It retraces up and down, up and down. So really channeling in here. Can't really give you much on that one.
Yeah, well, thanks, Eva. Good job. And it's always disappointing we can't get through everybody's things, but there's limited time. And it's Saturday, right? People will probably want to get out from in front of their computer and go do something else. So we're going to start to wrap up here. So, finding great trade candidates is hard. It's hard work, and it can be like like we said, like a needle in a haystack. But we managed to find some good ones. I made note here as we scanned of what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trade candidates. Only one short, and no surprise given the direction the market's going right now. So we're going to be looking at these very closely in the trading room and in next week, and then pulling the trigger on these. John, we're primarily on a daily chart for stocks. We occasionally go down to 60-minute. We'll go up to a weekly to look at trends, but we're trading primarily on a daily chart. So, hey, we found a couple good trades. Just remember, there's these 3 things are essential. Great trade setups, with high probability outcomes, a good reward to risk ratio. You got to have risk management, trade management in your trading. And you guys agree? Would you say you would agree that having these things will help make you a profitable trader? Maybe raise your hand, type in a yes, thumbs up. Yeah, we got lots of hands going up. Absolutely, yes. Yes, thank you. Okay, we got some agreement there. Well, are you excited about some of the trades that we looked at? Electronic Arts short, we got Altria, MO long, AT&T, Verizon, IBB, Under Armour, Yandex, Baba. I think we got some good trades here. You guys excited about those? Yeah, thumbs up. All right. But maybe you're a little unsure. Okay, we got those identified, but what are we going to do? How are we going to act on them, right? Maybe you feel a little bit like this guy, like, wow, that was a bunch of information. I'm intrigued, but I'm not sure what to do. Well, I'd like to spend a few minutes going over a special offer about how you can follow along with the trades as I take them going forward, and then more trades after that. So remember, profitable trading is all about having a great trade setups, risk management, trade management, finding great charts, trades. It's hard work, right? And once you find them, you need a plan. I have a stock pick service where I find these trades just like this. I take them, I publish them to subscribers, and we go through it in a live trading room for those who want to be part of it. And we've been getting consistent returns year after year after year, beating the indexes, doing well. And those are all audited by a third-party CA firm really doing it. What's this worth? What's this worth? The average monthly return based on a $50,000 account is about almost $2,000, $1,900 over time. Each week you're going to get about 10 hours of detailed trade per month, about 10 hours of detailed trade consultation. You get one-on-one consultation, you get ongoing education. The value of all that stuff, if you're to go buy it discreetly from various vendors, it's over $5,000. I'm going to offer all of this: great trade setups, risk management, trade management, up to 10 hours of trade consultation per month, one-on-one, ongoing education and tools. And you get access to help with winning trades, and it's not going to cost you $5,300. The list price for my service on my website is $127 a month, which is about $1,500 a year. It's good value at that price. But a special offer for you today is you can try my service for 30 days for $37, and you're going to get everything we just talked about. And it's going to be $97 a month after that trial, which is a 25% discount. And there's a 100% money back guarantee. So try it for 30 days for $37. Come give it a shot, see the pics, try the trading room out if you're interested, have a consultation with me. And at the end of that, if you say, yeah, it wasn't my thing, no questions asked, no hard feelings, give a 100% refund. Most people end up staying. They like it because it's a good service, because we're profitable. And I'll go ahead and give you a link here where you can check that out. And paste it. So there is that link. And I know we got some existing customers who tuned in, wanted to see the trades we came up with. If you guys want to make any comment about your experience with the service, and certainly if you're a guest and you're thinking about it, you could type in a question specifically for one of the other customers, and they could respond directly to you. So what all do you get with this service? You get a watch list of the potential trades that I found. Like today, we will append today's findings to the ones we've been watching. You get alerts, an email or a text message when we are going to take a new trade. You get the exact details of the trade, the entry, the stop, the target. The trades can be traded either just by buying or selling short the shares, or with option contracts, your choice. I give the details both ways. So I give the trade parameters for shares, and then an option contract that matches that trade, and your choice how you want to trade that. You get alerts when I make a change, and that's email or text message. When I move the stop, take profit, close the trade, those alerts come out. You get access to a live trading room. It's actually an hour now, an hour at the market open. You can attend if you like. It's not required. We do record it, and we do a short recap each day. You get a weekly live chat session Wednesday evenings where we review the trades, and you can get any questions asked that you have. You get a one-on-one consultation with me when you sign up. You get a welcome email. There's a link. You can look at my calendar and put time on it, and we can talk and get you off to a great start. And you get risk management, option trading tools, and training. Oh, thanks. Ilya, nice. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I can give a verbal endorsement, since I started with Dean and took his courses and did the trading room and learned so much that I work alongside him now. It's great.
Thank you. Okay, Paul, thank you. Okay, so you get all this, and then one more thing for today, right? Someone asked about my Ichimoku cloud. My settings look a little bit different. So they're proprietary cloud settings. I've created training on this, and if you sign up today during this session, you'll get for $37, right? You will get the 30-day trial for the stock and option picks, and you will get my Ichimoku Cloud training course. It lists on my website for $247. That's a bonus this Saturday during this session only. So if you decide you want to wait, I'm going to send the recording out with a link to the trial. If you do it later today, or you do it tomorrow, you'll get the $37 30-day thing. But if you sign up now, you will get the $247 Ichimoku Cloud course included. So that's a really nice bonus. Let me post that link one more time. And Flaviano, yeah, that's nice. He trades Forex, and he said the method that I've taught, he's taken my class, were great. So thank you. Key, thank you. That's a nice endorsement there. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. You know, I have the best customers in the world. Okay, so any questions? You know, we've already finished analyzing the stocks. We got some great candidates for tomorrow going on the watch list, and we're able to take a look at some of the stock ideas you had. So the material for the presentation, you know, we're done, and really I'll just hang out here and would be available for any questions you have about the offer. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now.